This podcast is supported by Sanctuary Blu in Conshohocken, PA. Tired of the same old stuff on Amazon? Check out Sanctuary Blu in Conshohocken, PA. Whether you're looking for a stylish outfit for your next girl's night out or handmade unique items, Sanctuary Blu has something special for you. Stop in at 322 Fayette Street in Conshohocken, PA.
And she recorded a message saying she hated her boss. And somehow, I don't know how it like transcribed into email.
Yeah.
Sent it directly to her boss. And my boss called me and she's like, you'll never believe this. And she showed me the email.
Welcome to the Big Dane Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Warnock, and in this podcast, find the connection in the weird experiences that we all share. Listen to new episodes on Tuesdays wherever you get your podcasts. Hey friends, let's get weird. In this week's episode, my neighbor Jess Hoag joins me in speaking about her weird job experiences she's had over the years. Stay tuned to listen what happened to her at her current job where her coworker recorded herself threatening her boss. Welcome, Jess.
Hi, I'm Jess. I am also a neighbor in Conshohocken. I've been here for about 8 years now and have lived in the Philadelphia area my whole life. I went to school at James Madison in Virginia where I met my husband, Ryan. And yeah, have been in this area ever since.
Wonderful. Yeah, Jess and I met last year at our block party. I'm like, where have you been?
I know.
And now we hang out all the time.
I know. Perfect timing.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. Let's just start at the beginning, of your weird job experiences, like what went on, just paint the picture.
Okay, so I'll start with my first job. I worked at a retirement home called Shenandoah.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys had something like that near you, but this was like the most popular high school job.
Okay.
So like at 15, it was like, that's where you got your job. So a lot of my friends worked there at the time. So I was like, okay, naturally, that's where I want to apply.
Right.
So I went in for my interview and, they asked me basic questions. We were like servers.
Okay.
And bus girls. So, very like basic serving questions.
Sure.
And for some reason during the interview, I decided, oh, you know what? I'm going to tell them I know CPR because I had taken a CPR course. But again, not relevant to the job.
Sure.
And they were like, amazing. So they put me in the rehab facility with people that were on restricted diets and people that were like directly coming out of the hospital. So there I was like having to memorize everyone's diet restrictions.
Oh my God.
Sometimes I'd have to pick people up off the floor if they fell. Like almost like a nursing job.
Yeah, but it's like you're not a nurse.
Right.
Why?
And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Why did you hire me?
Yeah. And there was one time, like, I became friends with the people because I got to know their diets, and they had, like, little cards. In front of it. Like, they sat in the same seats every day.
Yeah.
They had little cards that said what they couldn't eat. So, like, one of my first weeks, this guy was like, oh, like, I want ice cream. So I was like, okay. And we had, like, this stocked freezer. We could make them desserts. So I made, like, the biggest banana split I could possibly make. It was like probably this big.
Oh my God.
Then later after I like got to know him, he was diabetic.
Oh,
and I was like,
no.
I should not have given that to him. But I also didn't know.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
They'll try to get you like,
yes.
yeah, can you?
Yeah, and he was like, you're
it's
new.
A new girl.
Yeah,
new girl
you'll
here.
do it.
Yeah.
But everything about that job was very interesting.
Yeah. So
like,
how did you figure out like he was diabetic? Did like an actual nurse come in
later on, we had to like take tests on what people's diets were.
Okay.
So yeah, when I took the test, then I was like, oh, that was the guy.
Great.
Most of them knew what they couldn't
have,
eat,
yeah.
so they would only order what they could eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know he was fine.
Yeah,
he probably didn't eat the whole thing, but he was okay. But yeah, definitely a very interesting job overall, especially for a high schooler. But again, a lot of people worked there, so it was something that seemed really normal.
Right. Yeah, I remember a lot of kids at North Penn, they worked at, if you lived like more in the Hatfield side of the district, you worked at like Dockwoods, and it was like a similar, like what you're describing.
Yes. Oh,
like
yeah, and like Meadowood
folks.
is over in
that sounds familiar.
Like Worcester area.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was just like a very normal place to be working, and we had like pinstripe uniforms. We wore like, you know, the little like waitress like tie that like we would keep the notes of like what people could eat like in our pockets. Okay. But yeah.
Oh my gosh, that guy.
I know.
At least he survives. I mean, although a lot of time has passed now, so
at least he survived.
At least he survived on that day.
Yes. And then all of the people there would, so dinner was at 4:30. They would like line up at the door to get their spots and wait at dinner. Sometimes they would sit there for an hour ahead of time, and they would just sit in their seat.
Wow.
And they would watch us set up and wait for us to come out with everything. But also they got some really nice meals for being a retirement home. Like we would do like stuffed shrimp and lamb and duck, and it was very fancy. Yeah.
Did you try any of it?
Yes. We were able to eat everything like after we served it.
Okay. So like, oh, this is
what the
rice actually
and all the desserts. We were able to bring things home. Nice. So yeah, that was a nice part of it.
So what else comes to mind for you for like another job, like, you know, post high school?
Yeah, so I think after high school, I've had an interesting like career experience to start with, but my first job right out of school was for a smaller company. It was just 3 of us, and I had to travel to China with my boss. So we were we worked on like the vendor side of things and like worked with different factories. Okay. So maybe like probably a year into work, he had asked me if I wanted to go to China with him. So I was like, you know what? When am I ever going to get this experience again? Yeah. So why not? So we went together for 2 weeks. We toured a bunch of factories. It was really fascinating, like seeing everything in person.
And what type of like factories or like the business?
I was doing like handbags. So we went to like luggage factories. So like we went to like a suitcase making factory.
Oh wow.
It was really interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
And it was interesting too, like being there, how they like factory to them is like a glorified job. Yeah. So that was interesting, and they were like, "Oh, like it's really hard to make suitcases, so this is like a really skilled job. Like this is great." Wow. So that was interesting. Luckily, we had a tour guide that took us around the whole time. Yeah. Because nobody there spoke English at all. Like I could not have gone on my own.
No, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd be like on like Google Translate, like
yes,
and because it's just complete, like totally different. With Chinese characters versus like different. English and Spanish. Like, yes. Oh, that kind of sounds like English, but
yeah, and Spanish. Even like the street signs, like there was no English anywhere. Wow. Going to one of the factories, my boss got really car sick, so he was like, "Can you go into the hotel and get me a Coke?" Mm-hmm. So I like went into the hotel. I was like, "Oh, can I get a soda?" Yeah. And I thought the guy understood what I was talking about, and I was like motioning like soda. Yeah. And then he like nodded like, "Okay, I got you." He handed me a box of matches. I was like, "Okay." What? I was like, "Never mind. Like this is as close as I could get." Exactly. Yeah. So then I left, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't get you the soda."
Like, did you ever figure out like later like if that motion meant
No, something? I had asked like, the tour guide, and he was like, "No, I have no idea." Huh. So yeah, also on that trip, the first night we went out to dinner, and it was just me and my boss, and then the guy that was touring us around, his name was Tommy, and then like his whole group of people from the factory. So they were like so excited to have us as like outsiders there. So the first night they were like, okay, this is a Chinese tradition, which loved this tradition afterwards. But we sat at like a large circle table where they like rotate the food. So everything was like on a glass, like lazy Susan in the middle.
Yeah. I was trying to think of that. Yeah.
So we like rotated the food, and then they were like, once you stand up and go behind someone, they have to finish their drink. So the whole night, people would just like walk up and they'd be behind me and just like tap me on the shoulder. And they'd say like, cheers. And then we had to chug our drink. And then the waiter would just refill it.
Yeah.
And this happened the whole night of like, we were at a table of like 12 people. And it was like each person was like, okay, I'm going to come over to you because you're new.
Yeah. And so did they tell you that ahead of time, or you realized this as it was happening?
I realized that as it was happening. And I was like, oh, this is kind of a fun tradition. But like, because they all knew each other, they weren't going to each other.
Sure. And, like,
and also I was like, I'm on a work trip. I can't drink all this wine.
Right. I mean, it's a lot.
Also, I'm in a different country and...
Different country, different culture.
Yes.
What do I do?
I don't know what to do. Yeah.
What do I do?
So I was like, okay, I'll go with it. And also, my boss doesn't drink. So, like, he was just, like, drinking water. So, like, no one was really going up to him. So, it was really just me. I know.
Probably, like, wasted.
I know.
By the end of the night.
I know. And then everywhere we went, he was like, oh, like, do you want a bottle of wine? I was like, no, well, if I'm going to be drinking it by myself, no, I don't want a bottle of wine.
Also, have you seen, like, what's been happening?
I know.
Now? So, did you actually, like, have to, like, chug it, like...
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
It wasn't full, like, full like glasses every time, but it was, like a smaller, like, taster glass, I would say. It was like a shot. Or a little bit bigger than a shot. Yeah. But it was, like, every time.
So, yeah.
I know.
That adds up.
I know.
That adds up. Oh my God. Did they, you know, at one point in the night kind of give you a break or like mention like, oh, we got her good?
No. It was like the whole night. And it was a very long dinner.
Oh my gosh.
And each person would like come over and like introduce themselves and say what they did.
Yeah.
So it was like they were all kind of like taking turns to like come by and be like, oh,
introduce yourself.
Yes, like this is what I'm in charge of.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
And like give me their business card.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And was it more of a tradition because you were new, or more like because they were doing business? It was more
I think it was a business tradition.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
I know.
Who knew?
But I was like, yeah, I've not seen that here.
Well, how would we know? We
exactly.
don't go to China.
I know.
Who's going to China?
Right.
Like, you know.
And I've taken like different business conferences where they've said like 2 drink maximum.
Yeah.
But in that case, it was like, I can't. Like, yeah.
Free for all.
I know. It was a free for all.
Oh my God. Yeah. That sounds a little stressful though.
Also, I was like 23 going over there.
So your tolerance was like still pretty high.
Yes, that's true. I was like, okay, I'm fine.
No problem. I got this. Now I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, same.
Because I also wonder if it would be rude if you said no.
Right, and that's why I didn't want to say no, especially because I said yes to so many people.
Right.
Then I didn't want to say no to some of them.
Oh my gosh. That sounds so stressful.
But yeah, the trip overall was definitely an experience. Tried some new food.
Yeah.
No, a lot of new food.
They got to go.
Yeah. That's why at the time I was like, you know, it's
why not? If it's
crazy, but why not?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's paid for. You know, I'm not going by myself.
Right.
Because it's really far. I mean.
It is really far. It was a long flight. Yeah. And you can only watch so many movies on a flight that long.
Because do you remember where you had to stop? Like
we did direct. Yeah. It was direct from Newark. So we took the train from here to Newark and then flew from Newark. I think it was 18 hours.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
And then we got there and it was already the next day.
Yeah.
And it was dinner time. So we got there and was like, okay, eat dinner.
Ugh.
Now go to bed.
God.
And then get ready for the next morning.
Okay, taking a break ski here because I wanted to inform you on my newsletter that gets deployed on a monthly basis, so I promise I won't spam you. You'll get the latest upcoming news on the podcast, episode highlights, and some of my favorite podcasts that I enjoy. Sign up today by visiting thebigdanepodcast.com, and the pop-up will prompt you to fill out your info. Again, that's thebigdanepodcast.com. Anyway, so tell me about another time, maybe like in your mid to late 20s.
Yes,
like
okay.
Another weird
experience. In that same job. So again, we were a company of just 3 people, so we were in like a shared office space. There was a lot of different companies in the building, and it was all like individual little like offices. So like again, at 23, I had my own office. So I was like, oh, this is cool. Wow. So like there was just 3 of us. We each had our own offices, and it was like little hallways of different offices. So like we'd see all the same people in the building. Sometimes they would have like mixers of all of the people that worked in the building.
Oh, really? Well, that's kind of cool, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, or they'd like give out like raffles and stuff of like the people in the building. And the guys in the hallway that were in our same hallway, it was just 2 guys. I think they worked for like an insurance company. I never knew what they were doing, but the one guy was also a photographer. And the one day he was like, hey, like, could I take some pictures of you? And like, if you want, like, you could use one for like a profile picture or something. So I was like, sure, why not? Yeah. So he's like, okay, let's do it tomorrow. So like I wore like a nice outfit.
Oh my
gosh. And then that next day he's like, okay, like I brought my camera. So we went in the parking lot and took pictures.
Oh my god.
And even my boss was like, what are you doing?
Like where?
I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like I have to step out for a minute.
I have a meeting scheduled.
And he was like, isn't that the guy that works in our hallway?
Oh my god.
But again, at the time, I was like, oh, this is so nice of him. And now looking back, I'm like, this is very weird.
Was a little strange.
Yeah.
A little weird.
Very weird.
Oh, my God.
And then afterwards, he did give me the pictures on a CD.
On a CD?
They're probably still on his, like, photography website somewhere.
Oh, my God. Did you ever use the pictures?
No, I never used the pictures. No.
And did you have to pay for it?
No. No, he was just like, oh, I want practice.
Oh.
Yeah, that was also weird.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just an odd thing because, like,
I know.
Okay, I get if you're trying to practice. Is that what photographers do? I don't know. Ask random people.
I don't know.
Like, wouldn't you ask your family? I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't.
And he did like school pictures. So he would do like high school photos and like graduation photos and stuff. Like, wouldn't you just use those?
Yeah.
I don't know.
If he still, like you're saying, if he still has a copy. Ew.
I'll have to look for his website. I couldn't even tell you his last name.
Oh my.
But I bet I could find it.
Well, I guess the good news is that he didn't, like, you didn't have to go off-site for it, because I would.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I definitely would not have done that.
Yeah.
But still, the parking lot was kind of funny, because we, like, went outside, like, looked for some trees and stuff, like taking pictures in front of the trees. Yes. And we were in like an office complex, so like there's really nothing around.
Yeah.
It wasn't very like picturesque at all.
Did he ask anyone else?
No.
Weird.
I also was definitely the youngest person in that like shared office space.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It was weird.
A little strange. Did he, I guess, like, after that time, did he, like, I don't know, now it's a next year later. Oh, hey, Jess, you need some pics?
No, he didn't.
Nothing.
No, I feel like he had asked me if I used the picture. Okay. Which I didn't, but that was it.
Yeah.
But no updated pics.
No updated pics. They're just on a CD somewhere.
I know. Oh I probably still have the CD somewhere.
You have to show me.
Yes, like I'm gonna have to find them because it was like 100 pictures too.
Oh my god!
Like it was probably like a 20-minute photo shoot.
Okay, 20 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that quick. I mean, because, you know, it goes like, you know, so fast. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to find the pictures.
Oh, God. I feel like he was probably, like, scoping everyone out. And maybe it was like, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but, like, also.
Same. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
And then maybe his thought was, oh, well, this young girl, she's just in her career.
Right.
Maybe she needs some professional
photos. That's kind of what I was thinking.
That's what we like to think.
Right. And I feel like I did bring a blazer.
Yeah.
Like, I think I wore a dress. I brought a blazer with me. So, like, I had some pictures, like, with the blazer and some without the blazer.
Over your shoulder.
Yeah. He didn't really do any poses. It was mostly, like...
Okay.
Like, headshot.
Okay.
Kind of just, like, me standing there.
Okay.
Still weird. I wonder what my boss thought about that when I went outside to do a photo shoot.
Everyone's like at the window, like peering through.
I know.
Is that Jess? Yeah, I don't know what she said.
Actually, I feel like my boss at the time would not have even found that weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
No, but I can't oh my God. I do agree with like, you know, how there's like other offices in that building because I used to work over in King of Prussia like over 5 years ago. And it was kind of like a similar thing. Like I can like picture it where you got the parking lot, but there's maybe some trees and here's whatever his name is.
Yes, exactly.
And you just go out and do a photo shoot.
Don't know why we didn't do it like in the office. Yeah, I guess he was looking for the trees, looking for that.
Yeah. Some greenery. Who knows? Wow.
So yeah, that was that. That was the same job as the China stuff. So the whole experience, I probably was there for, I would say 3 years at that company. So a lot happened in that time.
Yeah. Wow. Well, now we know, like, to keep an eye out for photographers that may come after you.
I think now probably someone would charge you.
Yeah.
Like, or they would ask, like, are you interested in headshots?
Right.
I don't know.
Like, his seems more kind of like demanding it, like, in a sense. And you're just like, yeah, sure. Instead of like, yeah, you know, I'm not really interested. Because I wonder what would have happened if
I would have said I wasn't interested,
If it would have gotten weirder.
You never know.
We'll never know.
That's true. And I would have had to see him every day in the office.
Yeah.
So that could have been
weird, too. That's another good point, because then you would see them.
I know.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was everything with that job, I would say.
Okay. And then something juicier?
Yes. My current job now. So we work on, like, close-knit teams of, like, 4 to 5 people. And the one girl on my team, my boss called me one day and she was like, you're never going to believe what happened. And this was like an IT issue gone wrong. Okay. But we were in the office and I think we stayed until lunchtime. And we're like, okay, it's lunch. Like, we'll all drive home and finish our meetings at home. So I guess while we were in the car, this girl must have been on the phone with someone or somehow, like, on Teams, and she recorded a message saying she hated her boss, and somehow, I don't know how, it like transcribed into email, sent it directly to her boss, and my boss called me and she's like, you'll never believe this, and she showed me the email, and she was like, I don't even know what to do. So, of course, HR had to get involved.
Oh, my gosh.
And, again, we still don't know how this happened. Like, I went on to Outlook, and I was like...
Just to
play around. Yes, I played around with it, and I was like, you could, like, dictate messages, or you could record things. But I was like, how did it send it to her unless she already had an open email or something sent
already
to her? Yes.
Like, addressed to her boss. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was, like, a threatening, like... I hate her. I want to kill her.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is crazy. And it was a voice memo. It was typed out and then like a voice memo attached too.
Oh.
So I don't know how that happened.
Which makes it seem even more of like an IT does he think? Because, like, why would anyone attach a voice memo to an email?
I have no idea how it happened.
So strange.
So, yeah, she's not on my team anymore.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was crazy. That was, like, a month of drama trying to figure that out.
So nothing really got resolved then?
Nothing really got resolved, but it was, like, not... it was, like, on her personal phone, too. Like, it wasn't like it was on her work computer. Okay. So that was also the weird thing. Yeah. So it was like, maybe, it could be, like, traced back to her.
And you don't know who she was talking to? Was it someone at work?
So, originally we thought it was someone at work. Yeah. But we think it was, like, a friend outside of the company that she was talking to.
Because I thought, okay, maybe if she's, like, on her way home or whatever, since, they told you to leave, whatever, maybe she's catching up with someone and use the Teams app to call. Right. Or, like,
exactly.
Something
that's what we were thinking at first, Teams. Too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because otherwise, how could I send the email? Like,
I know. Yeah.
But, because I'm on the phone.
Yeah. It's crazy, though.
That's so wild.
I mean, even at work, I feel like I'm always careful of, sometimes if we're on a meeting or something and, there's something that, like, I don't want to send in a message, I'll, like, text my boss. Yeah. Like, if, I don't know, we look at products all day, and if there's something, like, we don't like, sometimes we'll text back and forth and be like, I don't like this. Mm-hmm. Instead of accidentally writing it in the chat of, like, I don't like this.
Oh, for sure. So, especially if you had to flip back and forth with, like, Zoom.
Yes,
or
exactly.
Microsoft Teams. Completely different.
Right. So, like, I don't want to accidentally do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how she did this.
That's so crazy.
It's really crazy.
I wonder if they asked her, like, were you driving, like, were you hands-free or what?
That's what I wonder.
Like, what's happening in the car? Assuming you're in the car.
I know. Or did it, like, right. Or did it, like, record while she was in the car, and then when she went back onto her computer, somehow she sent it? Yeah. I don't know.
What kind of car does she have? Now I have, like, more questions.
Exactly. I know she's an Audi.
Oh.
Exactly. I don't know what that does.
Yeah.
But was it, like, on CarPlay or something?
Right.
That it was
That's what I'm
connected?
Thinking. Yeah.
And somehow connected to Teams?
Somehow. Yeah, because you know how sometimes, I only know it from Matt, because he has a Civic and has, like, the CarPlay. I feel like mine isn't, like, a true CarPlay. Okay. But, I'm thinking, like, where it will prompt you with certain things to, like, get it set up, I guess. Exactly. Or maybe even something, like, prompted on her phone to get the CarPlay.
I know. I don't know.
It's really bizarre.
But I wish I could ask her. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I bet she probably went through the same thing of trying to figure out how it happened.
Yeah. Because it truly does sound like just something, like weird that happened with IT. Yeah. And, like, a functionality issue. And unfortunately, she said these things.
I know.
Which, like, I'm surprised she didn't get, like fired.
I think if it was on her computer,
she would have. Yeah.
I think because it was on her personal phone, they said it wasn't, like, company property. Yeah. And if she was talking to a friend outside of work.
True.
I know. But that's what's crazy.
Because then you start to think, like, well, how do you know she was speaking to someone outside of work? Like, are they checking? Like, who?
I know.
It's almost like a police investigation.
See, that's the thing, too. I bet they could go back in all of the phone records.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who does she talk to at this time at 1 p.m. in the car? Audi. Let's go.
Yep. I know. We need to ask her these questions.
Yeah. I know. I'm really, really curious. But it's definitely something that's not like that I've never experienced.
No, I've never experienced that either. Especially like I don't know. I feel like sometimes there's drama at work, but not
to that.
Not like that
level. Yeah.
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 And it was like drama that I wasn't supposed to know about.
Yeah.
But then I knew this was happening.
So like, why did I know this?
Yeah. It's just like, I need to know everything that's going on with it.
No. Wow.
I know. But yeah, now she is on another team, but nobody else. Actually, I don't know. Maybe her new team knows that's what happened.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, because you think, I mean, how many people talk about, like, just, you know, talk?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Got the tea.
Yes.
You know.
Everyone knows what's going on at work. Yeah.
I'm sure, Fortunately, unfortunately.
I know.
Yeah. I guess, the next thing is, like, better not happen again, or she's probably fired.
Oh, definitely.
You know.
But yeah,
But
even before that, I was just always careful with that. Like, double checking, like, when I'm sending things of, like, who it's going to.
Right. I feel like I'm constantly, like, double checking. I'm like, before.
Yeah.
Like, my eyes are bleeding. I'm like, okay, why am I still looking at this?
I know. Or, like, making sure I didn't spell someone's name wrong.
I will say one time that I was doing, like, recap notes, and then I was just seeing if anyone else had any notes. And this was at, like, the end of the day, so I sent it through just, like, internally to the team. And I realized I put shit down instead of shift. Like, shift, over to the next tab, like, and I'm like, oh my God. I was like, see, this is what happens when you look at something at the end of the day.
Yep.
And you're trying to get something out. But
anyway, that's really funny.
My little weird thing. But, wow, I mean, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Thanks for
it was.
coming on and telling us all your stories.
Of course.
I think we saved the best for the last.
Yes.
And
my drama story.
Yeah. And if people want to say hello, or maybe they have, like, a weird work story that's similar to yours, if they want to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, on Instagram, I'm jpalek, JPALEK.
Got it. Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Yes,
and we'll catch everyone next week.
Thanks.
Bye. You made it to the end of the episode. Congratulations. No, but truly, thank you so much for listening. And stay up to date with my podcast by going to my Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok accounts. Interested in being a guest on a future season, or know someone that would be a great fit to be a guest? Go to my website, tap on Be a Guest, and fill out the form.